Hello, it's 7:52 p.m. Sorry, I just got the hiccups. Excuse me. So, I'm can't believe that I'm going through this. That there's no permanent housing over here that's available for low income. And I was trying to figure out why the finding the government didn't make it a priority to put it part of the stimulus package to help find homeless people permanent low income housing. They only have the program to help prevent people with the people who are on the verge of homelessness who are housed. There are programs to them help them prevent homelessness. So I'm feeling bad because I know next I know this money's gonna run out. It's not gonna last a long time. But next week it's supposed to rain all day every day next week from what Google says for Pensacola weather. So I feel disappointed. I was hoping, and I was hoping that I could have stumbled across an opportunity for at least a room for rent, or I was hoping to get to save, you know, the money I have put away. But I might have to be forced to use that money for hotel room and then end up back to square one, back on the streets. But I'm afraid of the narcissistic perps condemning and judging me if I were to pay for another week here. But I know, I don't know. I'm undecided of what to do. If it's forecasted to be nonstop rain all day, every day next week. I'm not sure if it's going because Google sometimes is not accurate. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Like this was the week it was supposed to rain all day, every day this week, but it didn't. It rained a little bit, sometimes. But I know that even today the sun was out and it was kind of cool, and that they had kind of slightly heavy wind, but I don't know if that was considered a tornado. But it was no rain today, this afternoon at least. So when I went to go get my shoes, so um I don't know, because I wanted, I mean I wanted this check to be, to last me longer and be more long term. And I don't know, I'm scared and just don't know what to do. And trying to fight against fear of being judged. They're doing it already anyway. But fear of being judged and condemned by the narcissistic gang stalkers. But a person doesn't even have to be trouble. It seems like if an employer finds out you're homeless, they won't even give you a job. But some of them act like they'll give you a chance. I said before that people act like for me to be unemployed for so many years, they act like as if I have some explaining to do. I mean, it's hard to, I can't even get a temp service job. So, I don't know. And it's like, it's been so many years since I've lost a lot of my computer skills in like Microsoft Word. I mean, the Microsoft Office. I mean, I still somewhat know how to remember how to do Microsoft Word, but there was a point in time I got Word, Office, and Excel pretty much down packed. But all the technical stuff, like QuickBooks and some stuff, I have zero experience. But I heard that there are some programs where you can go learn for free, or even library programs, but it's hard for me to internalize or sink in information, the fact of me being chronically sleep deprived. And then with the sleep deprivation, it'll be made to look like as if I'm just clumsy and mentally slow and retarded and just very irresponsible. And they think that I would use that sleep deprivation as an excuse when they don't understand what I'm going through. So, it's like, excuse me for rubbing my nose. It's been itching. But, yeah, I just don't know what to do. As I said, I'm scared to try to go take my money and go all the way over to Orlando just for nothing. Or is it worth it for me to at least try to put in an application or something over there? And then with the fact that it's difficult for me to get with my mail, if there is any housing opportunity that, you know, sending me letters, if they play with my mail, how can I get it? The letters or anything. They won't call me. They'll write a physical, send me a letter. And it's like, I mean, I can't, I mean, even if I would have switched my mailing address over to the Washburn Center, it would still be nothing but problems over there. So at that Satoshi Forest place, I never been there, but the guy who runs the Washburn Center, you know, he treated me like a pest and got aggravated with me when I tried to see about getting into Satoshi Forest. It's just like homeless people living in a tent area. Um, it's like they live in a tent and it's only a small community. So, and it's like the most vulnerable and most disadvantaged get to have higher priority. But it seems like as if we homeless people are supposed to be just stagnant and people aren't allowing us to get out of the hole of homelessness. It's like they want to keep us there and then criminalize us for being homeless. Or, I mean, they want to put us in jail or they make us disappear. I mean, if you Google search or YouTube search criminalization of homelessness or criminalization of anybody to help the homeless, or they criminalize homelessness and they criminalize anybody to be nice and help homeless, and they encourage people to not help homeless. So the thing is, that's like rich fake church pastors, like the mega churches like Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer and Benny Hinn and all those manipulators, people aren't going hard enough to speak out against them and call them scammers and spammers and stuff. Or rich people who beg for our money, or even any other, even if it's not a church pastor, if it's a celebrity, like say for example, I heard about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle having a GoFundMe. So it's strange and backwards how our society would rather give the already rich their money, but people who are poor and struggling, everybody encourages you to not help the homeless or poor. Women were more than glad to give sicko R. Kelly their money and fight tooth and nail to help him get out of jail or prison or whatever, despite what he did. So I mean, let's see who else. All right, if Lady Gaga or Rihanna were to put up not necessarily put up a GoFundMe, but if they were to raise money for something, like a fundraiser, it's so nobody's gonna say, well, Rihanna, you ought to be able to help people yourself. Why are you put up I'm just using for an example. Nobody's gonna question Rihanna. They're gonna, without question, they're gonna blindly and gladly empty their whole bank accounts just to give Rihanna all their money when she's already rich, and people like her rich enough that she should and could be helping people. But then again, it would be demonic, satanic, cursed money. Some celebrities are I heard that certain celebrities pretend to do philanthropy and fake giving, not because they care about people, but it's because to give themselves a tax break. If Kim Kardashian was trying to raise money, people would be more than glad. But a homeless nobody, not myself, any homeless person, well, you can include myself, but a homeless nobody who's in a stuck situation, who really is just trying to get out of their hole, it's like all homeless people are falsely grouped into one category, in the same category. The false stereotype that all homeless people are mentally ill, crazy and on drugs, lazy and don't want to work. And that's the same stereotype that they have about us targeted individuals. So it's crazy how our society would empty their pockets and be glad to give to the already rich, but the poor and homeless, people encourage you to not help them. And they had that Food Not Bombs organization where the man he must have been a targeted individual. The fact that he went to jail over 100 times for feeding the poor and homeless. And also there was a 90-year-old man somewhere in Florida. I don't remember, not Pensacola, but somewhere in Florida several years ago, a 90-year-old man, and he got arrested for feeding the homeless on a beach in Florida somewhere. And I heard that stories about police officers that crack down on homelessness, that basically they make a person have a permit from the government or from the city, a permit. They have to have a permit to feed the homeless people. And churches aren't really doing much to help And churches even try to deter you from getting help. A church pastor who would purposely block you from getting help, while it's okay for them to raise money for themselves. And then people feel like because they're so-called man of God or a pastor, they feel like it's okay for him to swindle people out of their money and stuff like that. Nobody questions the mega pastors that I mentioned. And there are more than just those people. So and I know the Bible said that the poor will always be with you. And you know what? The fake IDMR cult that I grew up in, they didn't. It seemed like there were a lot of rich black people, pretty much Masonic rich black people who got to own their own businesses and stuff like that. So there was so much elitism in that cult. And I never heard any stories of them preaching about how you should help the poor and the homeless. And they don't really encourage doing good deeds for your fellow man. In the fake Jehovah's Witnesses cult, I wonder how come they don't help their homeless. Or any other of these cults. They don't really help homeless. But you know what? It's good that they don't help the homeless anyway, because a homeless person's soul can be saved away from them. But, I'm just saying that, the foster mom was driving around in a BMW. And if they had a homeless man on the West Bank Expressway in Gretna try to come up to her and ask her for some money, as big as her house is, and the fact that she was driving a BMW convertible, the most she would give a homeless man is $1. $1. And then most of the time, she would blow them off and ignore them. It's like I grew up in dealing with the foster family with their elitist mentality and thinking that they're higher and better than everybody. And I had to learn pretty much how to change my way of thinking because of what I grew up to see them do. When I wasn't in my homeless or struggling situation, I was doing that at first too. Give somebody the most I would give them as $1. But then, I said, what? I don't have to do what the foster mom says. If I have enough to give 20, I'll donate 20. So my biological sister Ramona, this is what she did. This was right before she scammed. No, it was right. I don't remember if it was right before or right after she scammed me out of $375 in 2010 and went to go gamble it up and lost all the money in 5 minutes. This is what Ramona did. She it's like there was a homeless deaf person who just got out of the hospital from Tulane Hospital, I think it was, and they hadn't had food in days. And so I was eating my Chinese food, and so he wanted my food, but I didn't want him to eat my germs with my OCD, so I gave him a $20 bill. And Ramona's response was, after she just did what she did, "Oh, um, the Lord is really, really, really gonna bless you. Now that's stupid. Now why would you want to go and give somebody a whole $20 going off on me and stuff? Like I did something wrong. So it's like I'm trying to figure out what I do wrong. But you know what? I'm the only one in the family who do stuff like, even now that I am homeless, I'm still, whenever I can, and I'm not trying to do my alms before men or brag on good deeds or anything like that. I'm just stating my experiences. So if there's another homeless person, I share my food with them, or if I have a little more money, I give to another homeless person. I'm still homeless. But it's like, there be times when I be wanting to give certain food away to the other homeless, and I'm wondering, well, there's no homeless person around that I'm desperate to give this food away, and I don't want it to go to waste. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with it. But if I just try to give the food away before it would go bad or something like that, Even when I had my own place in Los Angeles, I would do a lot for the homeless, and they thought, even other homeless, I don't know if they were perps or not, but if I try to go feed the homeless at Venice Beach or around my neighborhood and stuff like that, or even maybe downtown, and they act like they too, and even, people at the church I was going to, they act like they think they're too good to accept my food that I cook. Like, they treat me like, even packaged food, if I give it to them unopened, and they act like they think they're too good to take my food. And it's like, even in Greenville, South Carolina, I had my own place, and it's like I had to deal with other homeless people who act like they thought they were better than me. And I was like, well, I have a place to live now. Why are you jealous of me? I meant to say, why do you think you're better than me? If you're homeless on the streets and I got my place, but you think you're better than me. I didn't realize those were gang stalking perps. So, it's like I'm still searching for a way to try to maybe, you know, find another way to try to make my own living, if possible. I know somebody gave me the soap making idea, but I'm just in here for 2 days and then have to go back out on the streets, most likely. But do I have to ask y'all narcissistic perps for permission to do another week? Or am I supposed to deserve to be punished on the streets in the rain? So, I don't know where I could sell my soap to if the farmer's market wouldn't accept me. But I guess I can go online. But I heard, again, the perps play with my mail. So, if I were to physically ship out soap to go sell to customers and something goes wrong with the gang stalkers doing it, then I don't know. But I have to go now because I don't want my storage space to take up my whole phone. So I'm not gonna take a bath tonight. I'm gonna take maybe a double shower tomorrow and just rest tonight as much as I can. I was gonna do a short story, but not tonight. I'm too tired and sleep deprived. So thanks for listening to me. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.